Hello. Hello. My name is Professor Lai. I'm here with me today, Professor Chen. So welcome to this information day. Okay. So with us today, we also have a student, an accounting student, Justin Chen. He's here. Okay. So the main purpose of today's information session is mainly to engage with you, to answer your questions. So I hope that by now you should have watched our video on YouTube. Okay, so you should have a basic idea about our program. So let me just say a little bit more about what you will study in accounting. Okay, so right. So accounting is the language of business. That is right. But there's one thing that I want to emphasize, which is that accounting is not only about numbers. Okay, because this is a very common confusion. I got in previous interviews when I asked students, "Oh, why do you want to study accounting?" And very often students tell me that, "Oh, because I like math. My math is good. My math is good. So that's why I do accounting." But yes, you need some basic mathematics knowledge, but when you study accounting at university, it's not just about numbers, it's about reading as well, because nowadays, the accounting standards are very, very complex. It's just like reading law, okay? So you need to have the analytical ability, you need to be able to read as well. So numbers, yes, you need the analytic, you need some basic mathematical knowledge. At the same time, language is also very important. Language skills is also very important. Okay, so let me just say a little bit more about what you will study in our accounting curriculum. Okay, so this is a list of the major required courses that you will study. So including, for example, in accounting, we have like financial accounting. Now, what is financial accounting? Financial accounting is basically reporting a company's performance, and the main target is the shareholders. Okay, so financial accounting is basically reporting the numbers to shareholders. Okay, so for example, like a listed company reporting their financial performance in the annual report to the shareholders. Then we have the management accounting. Management accounting is mainly for internal management, okay, for the company's internal to make the better decisions. So that is the management accounting part. Then we also have auditing. Auditing is about checking the financials. Okay, just in a nutshell, it's about checking the numbers. Okay, most accounting graduates, they start their career as an auditor. Okay, so that is the most basic career path of a beginning accounting graduate. Then we also have taxation. Taxation is another common career choice of accounting graduates, but it's less common than auditing. Okay, so auditing, taxation, those are the common career options. Then at the same time, in the program, you will also study business law. Business law, and you could also choose a company law to study, because as an accountant, you need some basic business knowledge, business legal knowledge, and also the company legal knowledge as well. Because sometimes accountants could also need to work with a company law, because I'm not sure if you've heard about like company secretary. Many accountants, they could become a company secretary as well. The main job of a company secretary is basically to handle all the paperwork of a company. So that's why you will also need business legal knowledge and company legal knowledge. Okay, so that's basically a nutshell of what you will study in the courses. So accounting is not just about accounting. Accounting, you have financial accounting, you have management accounting, you have auditing, taxation, and also law. Okay, so that's what you will study in our program here. Now, let me share a link with you. So if you want more details, you can actually go to our website. Our website is okay. So this is our website, our department's website. It is the address is www.bm.ust.hk/ACCT. Now here, if you go to this website, you can go to the right-hand side here. You can see programs and courses. There's a study pathway here. So here you can see a list of like more detailed, the course code and the course title of the courses that you will study. Okay, so this is there are a lot of good information on our website that you can find. Okay, so that's all I want to say at the moment. Maybe I pass the time to Justin to say something about his experience in as a student in this program. Okay, so Justin.
So thank you, Professor Lai. So currently I'm a year 4 student. So I've already studied in accounting major for 3 complete academic years, and this is my 4th year here in HKUST. So upon admission, so I have joined HKUST through program base, which I directly admit as an accounting major student. So regarding the admission, that I think most of you have known that HKUST offers both a school-based admission and also program-based admission, but they makes no difference because for accounting major courses, like what Professor Lai have mentioned just now, they are all being taught only after all students have declared their first major. So I would say that my interest in accounting was built like before joining HKUST. So because I've take BAFS, if some of you are here are studying DSE, then you might know what I'm referring to. So BFS is just like a high school accounting course, and by the time when I studied this subject in my secondary schools, then I built up my interest in accounting, and I decided to take my further study in accounting in university. So originally when I joined university, then I was a person like what Professor Lai have mentioned just now. In my mindset, accounting was just about numbers. But after 3 years of studying accounting, then I know that accounting is more than about describing numbers or checking with numbers, but they also involve like how to communicate these financial information with other users of those financial information. For example, like when we are doing accounting, when we are not only presenting information to in a language that only accountants would understand, but we have to like express what we like to deliver the message to people, like deliver to the public who may not have a foundation on accounting. So I would say that through studying accounting, you would develop a wider exposure, and also I think accounting serves as a foundation for all sorts of business, because I have heard some of the students, like after they take accounting, they decide to pursue finance as their second major, or even not finance, but also other additional majors as during their university study. And accounting has did a very good foundation for them to like dig deep into other sorts of major study as well. And for some people who like to pursue their further study in postgraduate, then some of the accounting graduates would take law as their further study, because as we can see from the curriculum, we will be studying business law and company law, so they serve as a very good like foundation for people who like to pursue their further interest in the law aspect. So regarding my internship experience in during my university study, so I would describe myself as a very like typical accounting people who did my internships in accounting firms, and also in commercial firms and in their finance department. So I would say that after my experience in both the accounting firm side and also the commercial side, then I've built up like a more comprehensive understanding of like how to put forward my technical knowledge learned in university into like real life practice. So I would describe more if anyone else have any questions regarding like my my experience in the accounting field, but now I'll pass the time to Jessica or Professor Lai. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just say a little bit more. Yes, as Justin mentioned, like Justin is a double major student in UST. He double majors in accounting and finance. This is very common in UST. So you get exposure to like two different disciplines. So this is very good here. Another point is that yes, accounting would be a good foundation for your further study. But actually, I've a lot of students like who went on to study law, to study for a JD degree. So it's accounting is a good foundation because nowadays many students they think you can't just have one professional qualification. It's very useful to have more than one professional qualification. Accounting and law, that would be a good match. Okay, so there will be a lot of good future for studying accounting. Okay, so Jessica, so are there any questions from the students?
Okay, thank you, Professor Lai. Thank you, Justin, for sharing. So right now we will open the floor for questions. If you have any questions about the accounting program, like how many papers you can be exempted, like what is the career prospect, or you have any questions about admissions, then please feel free to leave your question in the chat box. Or if you're shy, you can actually direct message me. It's fine as well. Okay, while you guys are doing the presentation, I actually got a few questions from students. The first one is about JUPAS admission scholarship. So some students are pretty curious about whether the school or the programs has offered any scholarship to our JUPAS students. Justin, are you awarded scholarships?
Yeah.
How high of the grade that you have to achieve in order to get a scholarship then?
Actually, there is two schemes in HKUST for awarding a scholarship, which is one of them is university level and one of them is SBM level. So basically, we follow the SBM level because SBM level is the one on top of university level. And I think USC is very generous in giving out scholarships because like we all for my year of study in 2018. So we did receive scholarship only if we can receive one or more 5 double star in HKDSE subjects. So if I remember correctly, stand for obtaining 1 5 double star, then you will get a half-year tuition scholarship, and went on if you got 2, then you will be awarded a one full year scholarship. And if there is a total of 3 subjects that you award 5 double star, then there would be a renewable whole full year scholarship. And if I remember correctly, then if you get like even 5 double star, I mean 5 double star, then you can also get a living allowance on top of the like a full wave of tuition scholarship.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Well, I have a good news to all students in this session. If you are taking HKDSE, the good news is from this year onwards, as long as you get 1 5 star in any one subject, category A subjects, you will be eligible for scholarship. And then the scholarship calculation method will be changed to counting the total number of stars you obtain in one single sitting HKDSE to decide how much scholarship you can get. Just like what Justin says, the amount can go up to full tuition and plus living allowance, and then it may be renewable for 4 years, which means you can pursue your undergraduate study for free, a professional degree. So that's the scholarship information. Maybe my colleagues Raymond can help put the scholarship link here in the chat box for your more information. Okay, I got a few questions. I know students are pretty shy, so I got many questions in my direct message, but let's address the public question first. How the skills learned in accounting transferable to other industry? So probably we have some inputs from our professors first, and then Justin, you may chip in later on.
Hey, sorry, can you repeat the question?
How the skills learned in accounting transferable to other industry?
Okay, maybe Professor Chen?
Okay. For example, in the accounting program, maybe you you need to understand how to analyze accounting standard, how to read the accounting standard. That will help you to build a base. For example, even you come to work, nobody will tell you what you should do. You need to look at that document. You need to read through what you're supposed to do. So that is the thing you can learn in the accounting program, especially even if you major in accounting or take the accounting license after you become the CPA. This is what we call. Maybe then you don't want to work in accounting. It is okay because many people become HR manager after they got their accounting license because they got their skills. Not just they don't just handle the numbers. They have the communication skills. Okay, that is what you can learn. I mean, in the accounting program, and then you take the CPA license. Even though you don't want to do accounting work, then you can transfer your skills to different industries. That is very common in the field of accounting. Yeah.
I think Justin can chip in more because you have internships in many different fields, and I believe that you can apply your accounting skills in various positions.
Sure. So I think the first one will be like about the technical one. So in terms of the technical skills, I think because account involves a lot of analyzing on numbers, so your numerical skills will be trained up through different accounting courses, and these numerical skills may also be applied in other industry beyond accounting. For example, like if we are doing a banking or in some financial service company, then we may involve looking into different stock figures or even in some credit rating industry, then you will involve in like looking into different companies' financial statements in order to perform some analysis to determine like how the company is performing in terms of its liquidity or how creditworthy is the company is. So I think that these sorts of a wide range of industry would also apply to what we have learned in the accounting field. So I think apart from the technical skills, I think the project management skills would also be widely applied in all sorts of industry from what we have learned in accounting. Because if we are studying accounting, then perhaps if you like pursue a junior career in accounting field, like for example working in accounting firms, then you usually will be involved in like managing an engagement of and a client's audit, for example. So in this process, you will be involved like how do you plan out your audit process? How do you plan the task force in between each team member in order to perform the engagements smoothly? So I think that these project management skills can also be brought forward to like if you decide to leave the accounting career and like pursue one in banking, for example, then you will still also be required to like manage a group of people or even manage a group of tasks, because like as a graduate we will progress eventually to become a middle management or even senior management. So at that point of time, we like emphasize a lot on the project management skill and also like people management skills.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Well, I think that the gist of the accounting program, one of the beauty of the accounting program is the flexible path that they offer to students. So some students may just want to take accounting, study accounting as a language of business, but some students would like to pursue professional qualifications through the accounting program. That's why we have made the accounting program so flexible to offer 4 paths for students to, to choose whatever that fits your own career aspiration and needs. And accounting and also other business subjects, they train up your communication skills. You have to communicate a very complicated financial report to your clients, to your boss. You have to analyze the number, the rationale behind, the reasoning behind. These skills are totally transferable no matter which industry you would like to, join in the future, or you may wish to switch your field, along your career journey. Okay, next question. Is there any requirement to take double major? Justin, your first-hand experience.
I think one of the requirement is that the double major will be declared. I mean, the additional major will be declared only after the end of your second year study. So I've heard of some of my friends' experience that if you go on a gap semester for let's say a placement in a company, then if you miss that, if you miss the spring semester of your second year of study, then you may have to you cannot directly apply for your additional major, and you may have to do the self-declaration of the additional major. So I think this is one of the restrictions that students will have to be very in mind. If you would like to successfully enroll in a second major smoothly, then perhaps you cannot escape from study for that semester. And I think apart from that, there's actually, I think, no restrictions. Like there would be great restrictions, like you have to fulfill a minimum grade for each major's fundamental course. For example, for accounting, the fundamental course would be Accounting 2010. If you refer to Professor Lai's website, then you will see different fundamental course for each major. And after you have passed the minimum requirement for each major, then there's only then there will be no fixed limitation that disable you to choose any of the majors. But like for some majors, they cannot be self-declared. So so bear in mind with that. But accounting has no that requirement.
Maybe I can chip in a little bit more. Well, the first point Justin mentioned, miss the window to declare the additional major is totally avoidable. We strongly advise students to, check your email and then consult our academic advisor before you make any plans. For example, you want to take a gap semester or a gap year. You have the autonomy, but better seek advice before doing that so that you don't miss any opportunity. Second, Justin mentioned that there is a requirement on the CGA, or even some majors may require interview. For accounting, it does not require interview for you to declare that as your major. Just make sure you meet the requirement that we set on your fundamental courses. So that's basically the accounting major mechanism. Okay, another question. I would like to ask whether studying in financial accounting have many chance to exchange to other countries. Let me quickly address this one so that we can focus on the program itself. Like other business students, accounting students have the full access to the school's exchange network. Currently, we have already have like 140 exchange partners in over 30 countries. So you can pick the countries that you would like to go. You can apply to the exchange. Of course, different institutions, they may have their own requirement. Again, once you admit to the business school, we will have an academic advisor to follow you throughout the whole journey and then give you advice whenever needed. Okay, I didn't study econ or BAFS in secondary school. Will it be hard for me to study accounting program here? Let's hear from our faculty first. Do you see students with economic background or BAFS in secondary school have an edge in learning?
I think economics doesn't really matter, right, Professor Chen?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
For BAFS, actually, we did a survey several years ago, and we find that there's actually no, the results of BAFS students and non-BAFS students, they did pretty much the same in the first year accounting. And even I think the statistics show that even the non-BAFS students did a little bit better, actually. Yep. So there's no direct, it doesn't really hurt if you didn't study.
No correlation.
No correlation, exactly.
Yeah. How about Justin? Did you take similar subjects in your high school?
Yeah, I did take economics and BFS in my high school. So I think one of the difference that between BFS students like me and also non-BFS students would be because I think what you have covered over the high school in BFS and economics will only be like somehow duplicated in your first year of study, but that does account for only one accounting courses, and after that then everyone is the same because everyone have took the fundamental course on accounting, and when you progress to some advanced accounting courses, then no matter BFS students or non-BFS students, they have start with the same starting line. So I think there will be no advantage or disadvantage if you did take a BFS or did not take BFS.
I would say that for students who have economic or BAFS background, you may feel a little bit easier to catch up with the first year introductory course, because just like what Justin said, the content somehow may overlap with each other. But when you progress to the senior years, actually everyone is, you know, at the same line, at the same starting point, and then you have to catch up based on how much effort you put in that subject. Okay, so next question. Okay, in terms of admission, we don't have subject requirement. No matter you study economics or BAFS, it doesn't really hurt you, or it doesn't really put you in an advantage to apply to the accounting program as well. Okay, next question. This question is pretty interesting. I think this student really did some research on business program. From previous data, the admission score tends to be lower than other subjects like RMBI or global business. Does this necessarily mean that it is less likely for students who take accounting to take part in a more professional career? If no, then what professions can accounting students strive for? Let me address the first part of questions before I pass the floor to our faculty and students about the admission score. When students look at the admission score, yes, you're right. If you simply look at that number, it seems that the accounting program, probably the admission score is a little bit lower than the other programs. But I have to remind students that when you look at the admission score, you also have to look at the admission quota. I'm now putting a link in the chat box. When you click that link, you will see that actually accounting admits many more students than the other two programs that the student just mentioned, RMBI and JUPAS. So when you have such a large pool of students, when you say the mean score, that may fluctuate, and that will be one of the factors about the admission score. I would say that we actually have a pretty high standard when we screen the students to apply to different majors. That's why we have the admission interview. So if you're pretty interested in the accounting program, I would say I always encourage my students to pursue your major based on your passion, based on your interest. You don't study for others, you study for yourself, okay? So make sure you choose the major that you like and that fits you, your personality, your capability, instead of, you know, based on the perception of that major. Okay, in terms of the career prospect, probably I can pass the floor to David and Stephen. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, just let me share this slide here. As you can see, our accounting programs are accredited by the major professional bodies, like the Hong Kong ICPA. So basically, if, the Hong Kong ICPA, like in a nutshell, you need to pass like 15 examinations in order to become an accountant, a CPA. But if you graduate from our programs, you only have to pass 5 exams. So it's a lot faster to become an accountant. And a CPA is really a passport to the global business world. So if you're an accountant, basically you have very good career path. Like many top management of the listed companies, many of them, they started their career as an accountant, as a CPA. Plus nowadays, as an accountant, once you get the Hong Kong ICPA, the Hong Kong CPA certificate, it's basically globally transferable. It will be very easy for you to work in US, in Canada, in UK, etc. Just to pass a very simple exam, and then you can transfer your qualification to those jurisdictions. It's globally, in terms of the global mobility, it's very high. Yeah. So Justin?
I think, yeah, I agree that, I agree, first of all, like what Jessica have mentioned, that choose your major of study based on your interest, your passion, instead of like what score you have took. Because I did hear some of the students, like if you refer to the admission statistic, yeah, the admissions, the median admission score would be like somehow lower than those majors like JUPAS or RMBI. But I did hear someone admit into the accounting major with a admission score of like best 5 of 30 out of 35. So I think it is absolutely all about your interest, instead of like what score you have obtained in HKDSE, so that you determine like which major you are going to be admitted to. And also regarding the career prospect, I think obtaining a CPA would definitely be most of the direction of for most of the accounting students, because like this professional qualification would definitely be value add for students like graduating accounting major. But for me, I am determined to take the CPA qualification like upon graduation. But I know that some of the students like they didn't prefer to take a QP program, and that's why, like what Jessica mentioned previously, like the new accounting curriculum has provided a wide range of variety for students to decide on how they would like to obtain their accounting degree in terms. So right now, after the modification on the curriculum, then there's a choice for students to decide whether they would like to take the full exemption for the professional exam, or they can take a fewer credits in order to obtain the accounting degree, but they cannot obtain a full exemption on the professional exam. So there's a choice for accounting students to choose based on what career prospect they would like to pursue on.
Justin just touched on the professional exam exemption. I just got a question. Hi, may I know how many papers can we exempt it from ACCA? So probably I'll pass the floor to David and Stephen to answer this question about the professional qualification exemption.
Hey, for ACCA, in total, it has 14 papers, and you can get exempted for 9 papers. That means you need to finish the last 5 papers in the professional exam. Yeah,
I think that the 9 papers exemption is a maximum exemption that we can get across all degrees in Hong Kong, right?
Okay.
So we actually get the highest exemption, greatest exemption from the exam.
Actually, I mean 8 papers, not 9 papers.
Okay.
Yeah, maximum. Yeah.
So that's the maximum. So we are getting the maximum.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Actually, the maximum I think is 9, but in terms of our program, we are getting 8.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Which is pretty good already. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so a question about main difference from A&F and professional accounting. So accounting and finance and professional accounting. I guess just also comparing, Hong Kong, you have a program called accounting and finance, and then it's a fixed combination that you have to do accounting, at least minor in finance, or you can double major in both areas. While UST, you can put your accounting alongside with any other business areas we offer to you. So probably that's one difference. In terms of the curriculum, is there any difference between if I take accounting and finance and the professional accounting only? I don't think so. We should take the same accounting major.
You mean like taking A&F in UST?
So Justin, you are accounting and finance student compared to your peers who don't declare second major in finance. They only study accounting. Do you guys take the same course?
Yeah, basically this the same, and one of the difference is that what pathway did accounting student choose? Yeah, because after the renewal of the curriculum, there's a total of 4 pathways for a student to choose, and for some of my friends, like they are not opting for the QP exam, then they would decide to study fewer credits, and also apart from double majors, that some of the students in HKUST did obtain a minor. And also the minor is not only constrained in business school, but also you may minor in psychology, you may minor in big data technology, etc. So these are minors offered by other faculties in HKUST. So this also offers a variety for students to choose to study within during the university based on their interest. I think this is one of the flexibility that HKUST did I think offer compared to other institutions.
Yeah, so as long as you choose this, let's say you are in the same pathway. Let's say Justin is accounting and finance student, he chose the QP pathway, and then other students just do accounting. He did not do any second major, but also choose the QP pathway. Actually, you study the same courses, and there is no difference between the accounting as long as you are choosing the same pathway out of the 4 that we show on the screen right now. Okay, so next question. I want to ask, if I didn't study BAFS in my secondary school, will it affect me taking accounting at university? In terms of admission, no, it's not a subject requirement. In terms of study progress, I guess our speakers already addressed this in previous question. do we need to be very good at maths in studying accounting? So again, faculty and students, your perspective.
Yeah, actually, I can address question at the beginning. And again, accounting, it only involves like basic mathematics. So you don't need like very good mathematical skills in studying accounting. Maybe Professor John, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, for accounting, you just need to know some basic mathematics, like because it is not about, for example, it is not about integral, derivatives, wheel analysis, linear algebra. It is not like that. It is about logic. It is about why, for example, why assets increase, why liabilities increase, why this and that. It is not about math. It is about logic.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mathematical skills don't really matter as long as you can do some basic math like plus, minus, and use calculator. That's it.
Yeah, and in accounting, you don't need to do any calculus. Okay, calculus not in accounting.
Okay, but I think the math requirement is a little bit tighter if you want to study the accounting analytics. I mean, you have to be a little bit better than your peers in math. At least you don't afraid maths to study the analytics.
Study accounting analytics. I think maths maybe, but it is more about like programming. So you don't need to be afraid of like doing programming, computer programming. Yeah.
Okay, so next question from Eric. Can you show the slide 9 to 24? Okay, actually the slides are basically the same as what we show in the pre-recorded video. Probably Haley or Raymond can put the link below, then you can definitely check out the slide at any time you want. Next question, is it hard for international students to get a scholarship? I'm not sure which qualification you are studying, but the university offers admission scholarship to both local and international students across different educational background. And even if we have the non-academic scholarship as well, so it's not very difficult. Last year, over 200 awards were given to our SPM students in terms of admission scholarship. Okay, Marco sent a question to me. Justin mentioned about BAFS. Then what is the difference between learning BAFS in the secondary school than learning accounting in university?
Okay, so I think learning BFS in your high school is only a fundamental of studying. I mean, this fundamental is not a requirement, but I think if you did study BFS in your high school, then it may give you a little bit of privilege if you study accounting, because during your first year of study, like we have mentioned previously, there will be a little bit overlap on the content. For example, like the first half semester of your first accounting introductory course, then it will be somehow overlap with with what you have studied in your high school BFS. If you did study BFS, then it would be then for that half semester, then you would be more familiar with the content than people like did not take BFS. But I think going onwards, when you arrive at your like senior years of study, if you did choose accounting as your major studies, then I think it is a more advanced and also more further elaboration on what you have studied in BFS. For example, like if you did study in BFS, then you may have learned something about for example, like cost accounting, if you did study on BFS. But in management accounting, we emphasize more on like what is the rationale behind those cost accounting method, because in your high school we don't teach in depth like what is the rationale behind why people would have proposed this method for the cost accounting, or why would the accounting board set those accounting standards. Like we don't dig deep into the reasons behind. But in university study, then we will understand more on like the rationale of those calculation methods, and also the rationale of why those accounting standards are set for today's accounting practices. So I think it is not only about like calculations, but also about understanding the accounting logic behind like what our Professor Stephen has mentioned just now, and also about how do you put those accounting knowledge, put them forward into a workplace environment.
Okay, so basically HKDSE BAFS is only a fraction of the professional accounting program the university is offering.
It's only a fraction of the first year accounting.
Yeah, it's only a fraction of the first year. And there are so many aspects of accounting that the HKDSE curriculum does not cover. For example, like Justin mentioned, the management accounting, or even probably David and Stephen can chip in more, like taxation, auditing. These are the areas that HKDSE curriculum may not cover. Well, from faculty perspective, David and Stephen, do you have anything to add on about this question? Like what, in terms of the curriculum, what actually goes beyond the HKDSE BAFS curriculum?
Just a little bit. Even though you don't study accounting in BFS, or even though you study it, because we start from the scratch. For example, even though you even though you have zero knowledge about accounting, if you take the accounting 2010 and then the 2200, then you will learn all the accounting from BAFS. So even though you don't study accounting, don't worry, you will start from scratch.
So again, I have to emphasize that BAFS or economics is not a requirement to get into the accounting program. As long as you are genuinely interested in the program, no matter which elective you take in your DSE examination, we welcome you to apply. This also applies to other qualifications. For example, IB, GCE, or SAT. No matter which subject you take in your international qualifications, we welcome you to apply to the program if you are interested in that. Okay, so next question, how many rounds of interview are there for accounting? What do we need to prepare for it? The second half of the question, I will leave it to David and Stephen, like what qualities are you looking for in the interview? The first part of the question, how many rounds of interview are there for accounting? For JUPAS student, well, actually interview is not compulsory for admission to accounting, but I strongly encourage you to attend the interview if you get the invitation. The interview will be held in late May or early June, right after your HKDSE examination. This is one of the ways that you can earn admission bonus. And I think the admission interview is like a matchmaking process. You know the program better, we know you better, you know whether the program suits you better, and then we know whether you are a good fit for the program as well. So in terms of the second half of the question, the qualities, how do you prepare for it? I will leave it to David and Stephen to answer.
Okay. Of course, the most important thing is communication skills. For example, when we ask you question, whether you can respond to our questions, not kind of like 100% correct, but we can see your thinking process. So we want to see if you're a logical person, whether you have a good communication skills. We will not ask you like very difficult mathematical questions or accounting questions like this, because we don't emphasize the technical skills during the interview. What we want to see is your communication skills, your quality, your maybe basic understanding about what accounting is. For example, accounting is not math, right? So some basic understanding of accounting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Justin, did you go through the interview before?
Yeah, and I think that for my interview experience, that they indeed didn't ask quite a lot about like accounting specific question, but instead for admitting into HKUST Business School, somehow the school is looking for your business sense, or like how do you see the today's business world. So somehow the interview questions are a bit more on like wanting you to demonstrate like how you think and how you express, like just what Professor Steve has mentioned, like how do you deliver your message to the interviewer. And I think I think demonstrating your ability to think thoroughly, and also being able to deliver your message in an effective way, this would be even more desired compared to if you have a large chunk of knowledge in accounting.
Yes, indeed. Well, actually, the school interview or the program interview does not aim to test how much accounting knowledge you have before admission. I mean, if you already have a large chunk of knowledge, if you're very knowledgeable in accounting, why do you still have to study in university? So what's the point, right? But what we are looking for is that students, you are really interested in this subject, and then you have a sense of what's going on around you in the society, probably in the business world or not. Sometimes the interviewer will only ask applicants to mention one of the news they have read recently. That is to test students whether you are aware of what's happening around you instead of just focusing on the book. And it's pretty crucial because when you do the accounting program, when you be in any career sector, including the accounting sector, you really have to communicate with people. Those financial statements is not readable to many ordinary people. Then how do you communicate a message behind these numbers or these reports? It's essential. So that's what we designed the interview for. In terms of how to prepare it, as an admission officer, my advice to students is always to read newspaper. Better to read English newspaper if English is not your mother tongue. It's not because you have to be very, very, very good in English. It's because you have to have the vocabulary so that you can express yourself. Just like the GameStop saga, you have to know the name so that you can say it in English and express your idea in the discussion. That's why properly reading newspaper is one of the very best way. Okay, so next question. With the advent of AI, is it possible for AI to replace auditors or other jobs related to accounting in future years? Stephen and David.
Maybe Justin first. What do you think?
Okay.
Does that affect your career?
I think from a younger generation perspective, I think AI may replace part of the responsibility for accounting professionals. For example, some of the very basic level of work, like the journal entry work, then they could be replaced by the AI. For example, like the AI may simply read the invoice like printed out by a company, and they may extract the correct information, like which account to be posted into. And I think these sorts of basic work could be done by AI, and also this technology may also be applied by the companies in order to save costs on human capital. But I think accounting is more than that. Like, because for accountants, we are not only about doing journal entries, but we have to like consolidating all financial informations. We have to express these financial information to the senior management, to the public, on how they should be interpreting these financial information. And I think that this responsibility that I think in the coming future, then AI cannot be completely replaceable, because this still requires some of the human thoughts and also the human interpretation on it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Just for some, for example, some very basic work, for example, data entry, maybe some basic audit work. Yeah, AI can do it. However, AI cannot analyze information like an accountant. For example, now maybe AI can do some very basic work. After the basic work, then we need to make adjustment based on what the basic work we have. That is the most important part, and that is the accountant can do, which cannot be replaced by AI, I think.
Yeah, I think that we still need humans to make what we call the professional judgments. And AI cannot help us to make those professional judgments yet. So maybe AI can help us to reduce some like the tedious work, but in terms of the higher level, we still need human beings to do that.
Yes, I know that many accounting firms is using AI to do the stock taking part. So you can ask the AI program to count how many stocks there, but you can't really rely on that to interpret the numbers or the rationale behind. And also, I think one of the very important things is that accountant is a professional career, and then you have to establish the relationship with your clients. It's very based on your trust, your ethics, your practice. So these kinds of things, there are so many human sides in accounting that cannot be replaced by AI. Yeah.
Sorry, Jessica, I'd like to add on one more point.
Yeah, sure.
I think the student has mentioned a very good point, like with technology being more advanced and more incorporating into accounting world, and the business school has actually like witnessed this change and has actually like proposed the change in curriculum, and therefore in recent years there is a new option for accounting students to take, which is the accounting analytic option, like available on the screen. And this is a new option for prospective students that you may consider to take. And this course is basically teaching how accounting students could leverage technology in terms of their daily accounting work. And for example, like for traditional auditing, then we may do sampling on the company's transaction and take out some of the transactions that auditors may feel like that they could be suspicious. But with the AI technology or with any sorts of data analytics technology, then the computer can do the screening of all transactions for human, and somehow they may identify, the computer may identify some of the like suspicious transactions. And what humans can do, or what auditors can do, is to like look into those specific those specific transactions. So I think with the help of technology, it indeed enhance the accounting or the auditing quality.
Yes. Okay, so I would say that the key message here is that AI actually complement the human's work rather than replace us. Okay, so I got the last two questions in the chat box. The first question is, just want to ask whether the university or the school would assist students who want to take part in qualification examinations apart from ACCA. So for other qualifications, is there any assistance from the school? Or actually, I think our curriculum already covers the knowledge that they have to know to pursue other qualifications other than ACCA.
Other than so, what does the student mean by other than ACCA?
I mean, I think he means the other, yes, the other professional qualification like the CPA or other accounting exams.
I think by studying in our program, they get the exemption, right? The 10 paper exemption from the Hong Kong ICPA. But then for the 5 papers, they're at the professional level, which is actually beyond the undergraduate level. So actually, in terms of the preparation, when they join the Big 4 accounting firms, but the accounting firms will give them training. So because that the professional exams, the level is beyond undergraduate, it's like more postgraduate level. It's like doing a master's degree. So we can't really do a lot to help them. It's beyond the undergraduate BBA. Yeah. But then don't worry, because when they join accounting firms, they will get the training. Yeah.
Yes. And I believe that because we have a bunch of alumni in those Big 4 firms, if you meet them, they are very happy to help. Okay, last question. Will students learn relevant technical skills in accounting?
Technical skills?
Yep. Justin, do you feel like you pick up some technical skills in accounting?
Do the technical skills refer to like accounting specific?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I think I think not very specific to accounting, but in university, because like we have studied like a bit courses like relating to programming, and also like for the accounting analytic options, we emphasize on students' programming skills. So I did learn some coding language that I haven't get in touch in my high school or even in other university courses. And I think these technical skills, like the coding skills or the programming skills, doesn't only apply in accounting majors, but let's say if I'm a information system major or in a finance major, they will still require different sorts of coding skills. So I think I think by obtaining the coding skills, it is kind of a technical skills, but it is not specified to accounting.
It's always transferable skills. Yeah, and students can always make good use of your free elective credits to have a more, probably you may call it hardcore or technical field of study with your free elective credits. So that's the beauty of the flexibility we offer to our students, so that you can customize, tailor-made a curriculum that suits your own interest. Okay, as we are running out of time, I think it's time to wrap up the whole session. Thank you once again for David, Stephen, and also Justin for joining the session, for hosting the session for us. I hope that this session gives you a better understanding about the professional accounting program we are offering at HKUST Business School. I would say that it's a very, it's a very solid program offered by a reputable business school. So if you're considering to pursue a professional degree, definitely accounting should be one of the choices that you have to take into consideration. I just put a link in the chat box right now. Today we are very happy to have Justin. For students who wish to get in touch with our student ambassadors from accounting major, probably you want to talk to your 師兄師姐or seniors from the same high school, make good use of the search function in this link. You can get in touch with accounting students across years through WhatsApp, IG, or even email. So let's wrap up today's session. Thank you all the speakers for joining us today. Thank you everyone for attending the session this evening. This is the last session, the business session we hold today, but we will still stay in the booth. Justin will also be in the accounting booth. If you have any other questions about accounting program or admission, please come to the business school booth to find us, and I'll be there as well. Okay, so hopefully see you on campus very soon. So thank you, everyone, and have a nice evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.